From Nashville's WSM Radio, the original home of the Grand Ole Opry, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast.
Hey, it's Charlie Mattos, and in this episode, we sit down with singer-songwriter Brennen Leigh, previewing songs from her new album, Ain't Through Honky Tonkin Yet. We would also talk about Brennen making her Grand Ole Opry debut. It was a delightful visit. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with Brennen Leigh.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And this is Brennen Leigh. It is great to see her back in the studio this morning with a new album, Ain't Through Honky Tonkin Yet. And she looks more well-behaved in real life than that album title would
Looks can fool you. That's right.
It comes out on the 16th. And then you're playing the Bluebird this Thursday night with Aaron Enderlin, Pam Gadd, and Irene Kelly. And Kelly.
What are you doing after that?
Oh, you guys, this is so exciting. I get to say it. On June 24th, I'm playing the Grand Ole Opry for the first time.
And I'm thinking about the first time I remember you in this studio with High Plains Jamboree, standing not too far from where you're sitting right there, playing a guitar and singing. And as the years have passed, the fact that this dream has come true for someone who, I can't think of anybody whose heart is more in the right place than yours.
Make me cry.
No, seriously, as it relates to a tradition of soon to be 98 years, Brennen.
98 years. So I have to say too, like it's kind of special because not to change the subject or anything, but my friend Melissa Carper is also playing the Opry for the first time in July, and it's incredible for the both of us. It's kind of surreal because we kind of came up together, like in Austin. You know, we worked in the same restaurant. So we looked at each other and just went, can you believe this? It's a dream. As I grew up listening to like cassette tapes of Hank Williams and Minnie Pearl and Grandpa Jones and Roy Acuff on the Opry. Like that was me as a kid listening to that. So it's crazy. It's really cool. It's an honor.
Do you already have the outfit picked out?
I have an outfit.
This is always my question because honestly, for a female, that is like the first thing that comes to mind. Is it something that you've had for a while, or you knew what you wanted if it was to happen?
Do you want to hear this is weird? Okay, I'm going to sound kind of cosmic and I'm
Speak
going to sound kind of loopy here.
Speak it.
I already kind of so I wanted a certain thing, but I didn't know. I hadn't been asked yet.
Yeah.
But in my weird little brain, I was like, I think I'm going to manifest this Opry thing.
Will it into existence?
I mean, and I think it's a coincidence. I don't know if people can will things into existence, but I better get going on that because what if, it's just dress for the job you want, right?
That's right.
So I asked my friend Jackie Straw, who's a wonderful designer, to make me a dress. And she did, and while she was making the dress, the Opry asked me to play.
No way.
Oh, that's great.
Well, so much for that people can't will things into existence, Ben.
Woo!
Well, it just...
I think you can.
Maybe so,
Yeah.
but she did a beautiful job, and it's very Western.
Wow.
What color?
Mm-hmm. It's white.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful under those lights. Oh, it's going to look good.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
definitely the clothes is like, that's the first thing you think of.
Yes. It's a big deal.
What songs am I going to do? And
What songs am I going to do and what am I going to wear? Because those pictures are going to last forever. It's like a wedding. It's like your wedding photos. You want to make sure that you've got beautiful ones because you're going to look at them all the time.
like I told my mom, I was like, this might be your only chance to get excited about something like this. So somewhere in white.
Good for you.
Marrying the ghost of Roy Acuff.
I only wish Porter were still around to go, hey, buddy, when you came out.
Oh, yeah. One of our favorite girl singers. Hey, buddy. Well, the beauty of the Opry is, though, that while you're making your debut that night, on the same show is Bill Anderson, who's been a member for 62 years. So it's the great spectrum of music on one night.
Well, thank you for including me in that.
Yeah.
But what an incredible person to get to hear live.
Yeah.
An incredible songwriter.
Top 40 hit either as a singer or writer for 7 decades. Wow. No one has ever done that in the history of music.
No one has done that. And it's Bill Anderson.
Yeah.
And I'm reading a quote from your website that I have to at this moment in this conversation. You said, I'm in love with this idea of the real Nashville, the idyllic golden age, which to me is around 67, 68, which is in the wheelhouse of the guy we just talked about, Bill Anderson.
Yeah.
He's one of the few writers that's still around that had hits in that era, the late 60s.
When did our late friend, not our late friend, he's still alive, former colleague Eddie Stubbs say the steel guitar went on life support?
66.
1966. Okay, all right. Yeah,
66.
yeah.
Well,
I almost killed Eddie Stubbs there. My apologies.
Along with the fiddle and the steel guitar simultaneously.
Yeah. But it was a great time, I think, and it's kind of what inspired this record was my obsession with the late 60s in country music because we had all this freshness and we had all this creativity in our genre. We had all the best writers, all the best singers, all the best musicians, and all the best producers, and they weren't afraid. They were kind of innovating. I don't think that the rock and roll influence had terrified everyone so much the way that it did later, and kind of influenced or polluted, depending on whom you ask, the music as much as maybe it did in later days. And so it just seemed like this explosion that was happening at that time.
Well, Don Schlitz famously wrote a line in a song that on Saturday night when the sky was all clear, a station from Nashville sometimes would appear. And he was talking about the stars of the Grand Ole Opry would sing is another line in the song. How did it make it to you in Minnesota and North Dakota? How did you consume and get to know so much about this music and these people?
Well, my friend Chris Scruggs, who produced my record, he likes to say that a lot of what we perceive as talent is just obsession. So, my brother and I grew up around my parents' record collection, my parents' picking parties, and they loved the Everly Brothers and Willie Nelson and Emmylou Harris, and like my dad, when I was really small, would play guitar to entertain me. And I think the first song I probably ever heard was The Wildwood Flower or The Wreck of the Old 97. And those just got, and if you can hear me play guitar, that's what I play like. That melody on the low strings, like everything I do is based on that. And so it was like we were indoctrinated with it, and we became obsessed with it, my brother and I. And it's just all I've ever, since I was about 13 or 14, all I've ever wanted to listen to was country music. And country music is huge. Like there's 20 different genres inside of it, at least. So It's not like there's a shortage of stuff to listen to. It's my favorite music.
Ain't Through Honky Tonkin Yet. The full album comes out on the 16th. But Carol with an E. A little backstory, and we'll see it on Circle TV and hear it all over the world on WSM Radio. Tell me about this character.
Okay, so my friend Mallory Eagle, she's from Oklahoma, and she's a lovely songwriter, artist, bright light of a person. She came over to my house for the first time to write, and this is a couple years ago. She said, I want to write this song about my neighbor who is a long-haul 18-wheeler driver named Carol with an E. This petite lady that always wore like little heels and little pearls and had her nails done, but she was a long-haul trucker. And so Mallory just told me about Carol, and I got enthralled with this idea, and we kind of became obsessed with her and wrote this trucker country song about her. And every word of it, to the best of my knowledge, is true. And then we made a video of it with a bunch of our Nashville friends. And
does the real life character know about all this?
That's the funny thing is we didn't tell her. So like Mallory, she doesn't know her that well, but she just was this person she was fascinated with that lived in the neighborhood. We're thinking Carol might find out.
Oh, I think so.
Eventually.
I think the world is about to find out.
About Carol. But,
along with Carol with an E.
Another funny thing, too, is that Mallory, my co-writer, plays Carol in the video. So she has this blonde wig and everything.
And your character is?
I'm just me. I'm a truck stop waitress, but I'm also just, I'm just the narrator or whatever. But Mallory's the star. Carol's the star of the video.
With Brennen Leigh on WSM Radio and Circle Television. Let's meet Carol with me.
Oh, Carol with an E. She's rocker I have ever seen. Though only 5'3", you might say that she's a highway queen.
That's what I'm talking about. And Red Simpson, I'm a truck. Brennen Leigh is here. New album. It's out on the 16th. Ain't Through Honky Tonkin Yet. She's playing the Bluebird this Thursday with Aaron Enderlin, Pam Gadd, and Irene Kelly. And the Grand Ole Opry debut of Brennen Leigh is happening June 24th. It will officially be summertime. So who's on your guest list so far that you know is coming
Oh my
from
goodness!
back home?
My some of my family will be there.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know. It hasn't been announced, so I haven't had a chance to.
How did some of the folks that collaborated with you on this new album include Marty Stewart, Rodney Crowell? How long have you had those friendships?
Well, I know Rodney through Guy Clark. And I knew Guy Clark well, and Guy introduced me to Rodney, and he's always been like a wonderful, just supportive friend and champion for what I've done, helped me out. So he sings some harmony on the record with Vicki Vaughn. Marty, I don't know very well, but he's kind of been, similarly supportive. I know him through Chris Scruggs. Chris Scruggs plays in Marty's band.
The Professor
That's right.
and the Fabulous Superlatives.
All of them in the Musicians Hall of Fame now,
Right.
as of last October,
Right.
which is really cool.
I think Chris is the youngest person in the Musicians
I
Hall
think
of
so.
Fame.
Yeah.
Super proud of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Chris.
Well, play and sing something for us this morning. Guy Clark always bragged on your guitar playing. If you'd like to see the quote, just you'll find it. You'll find it on the web, unless you'd like to quote him, Kelly.
No, I'm good.
It's off color.
It is,
Anyone's
which I
wondering.
love because I loved him.
Guy was
so.
off color.
Which is on point.
Yes, it's
Off
very-
color is on point,
Yeah.
right?
Off color, on brand.
I
That's
loved
right.
him, and he was a special person. He's a big part of why I'm in Nashville. So anyway, I wrote this with another great writer, John Scott Sherrill.
Songwriter Hall of Famer John Scott.
That's right.
Sherrill.
It's the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Yes.
He's one of the latest inductees to that.
I always loved his first band in town. You remember?
Billy Hill.
Well,
No.
Wolves in Cheap Clothing.
That was it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That describes John Scott.
It does, doesn't it?
But he was one of my first co-writers when I was living in Austin and I was coming here and writing with random people. He was enthusiastic about writing with me, and I just look up to him so much. So we wrote a few together for this new record, and we wrote the title track together about how much we love bars. So I love bars. I realize I feel very comfortable in a certain type of establishment because, sorry, Mom and Dad, but I grew up in them. And I was playing gigs at 14.
Well, remember the Tom T. Hall line in Homecoming? It says, we don't call them beer joints.
Nightclubs are the places where I work. That's right. That's right.
Brennen, thanks for coming to see us this morning, and I can't be happier for anybody than I am for you to be playing the Grand Ole Opry for the very first time, June 24th.
Thank you for having me, and y'all for being always so gracious.
We'll see more of you around here, I'm sure. That's Brennen Leigh. This is Coffee, Country, and Cody on WSM Radio, Worldwide Circle Television.
Maybe I'll find one of those old familiar places.
WSM. Thanks for listening to the Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please leave us a 5-star review. This podcast was produced through the facilities of WSM Radio in Nashville, Tennessee. The hosts of Coffee, Country, and Cody are Bill Cody, Charlie Matos, and Kelly Sutton. Producer Eric Markham. WSM General Manager and Director of Content and Programming, J. Patrick Tittle. Copyright 2023. Opry Entertainment Group Holdings, LLC.